Hello and welcome to the Get It Straight podcast. I'm Jason Sorokin, your host, and I'm joined today by my friend and co-host, Caroline Hosey. Caroline, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great today. How are you, Jay?
I'm good. You just got back from an incredible event, which is why I wanted to have the show today. You were at the Premier Orthodontic Practices company, yearly meeting, Pearls event, where they're sharing information and just kind of getting together as a group. And you were telling me some of the interesting things that you learned, and I was like, man, this would be a really great podcast. So on today's show, we're going to dive in and learn what Caroline learned there, learn about what the doctor's pain points are, what their problems are, learn how they're branding their smiles, all of those kinds of things. And we're going to do it through the eyes of Caroline, who was there last week. So Caroline, if you could set the stage, take us through the event, what happened, where was it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the event was hosted in Deer Valley, right next to Park City, Utah, which was my first time going to Utah. So I was super excited to be in the beautiful snowy weather, unlike Atlanta, which is just kind of dreary and cold right now. So it was a nice refresh. The event had about 40 doctors from across the country. What makes this group really unique is that each of these practices is a private practice. They're not part of the DSO model. So all of these doctors are looking to have autonomy within their practice, and that's really important to them. So they're looking and they're really hungry for growth and being able to be that entrepreneurial spirit. So the pearls that were shared there were all about practice growth and being the best kind of practice that you can. And also being able to utilize resources and the power of what a group can be able to achieve, even though they're not part of the corporate or DSO model. So it was an amazing event. I'm really excited to share a little bit more.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what Premier Orthodontic Practices is, it's a group of practices that get together and basically use collective negotiations and their buying power to get better deals. They share pearls and wisdom. So it's basically, if you don't want to go the DSO, OSO model and you want to stay fiercely independent and have a great practice and get all the benefits of a DSO, OSO, you go to someone like Pop, and the Pop team is great. If you're interested in checking them out, go to pop-ortho.com and you can learn a lot more. Caroline, what were some of the biggest pain situations? People are dealing with all sorts of problems in their practices. What were you hearing from docs, not only in marketing, but what were some of their pain points that they're dealing with?
Yeah, so a lot of them are really realizing how important it is to stand out online. And a lot of them are asking questions a lot regarding about how do you build reviews, because there's a lot of practices out there that they're like, wow, I have 4.9 stars. My patients love me. They're saying a lot of really great things about me. I have 250 reviews, but why am I not on top? And what we have done for a lot of our practices is we'll actually do a full competitor analysis to help practices understand kind of where they lay in their city against other competitors. So understanding that first and understanding where you stand is really important. But the thing is your team has to be engaged. Like, while I can sit here and advise you on where you stand in your market, great. But if it's not executed within the practice, then we're not going to get anywhere. And so the doctors, we did a roundtable format, and doctors were asking questions about how they can kind of elicit reviews. One of the practices shared some really great ideas. What they do is they reward their practice with a trip or some sort of prize or some sort of event. And if they all hit these kind of benchmarks together, then the whole team gets awarded, and they get everybody involved, which was really cool. Like, each person of the practice needed to contribute at least one review or at least one kind of referral or something like that. So they were able to kind of get the whole team engaged. And I thought this was really interesting about building team culture and how important that is when you're trying to be able to even influence your kind of reputation online.
Yeah. Did you hear anything about staffing? Was anybody having problems with staffing or anything like that? Because I know that had been a concern in years past.
Yeah, I think that staffing turnover, still is kind of a problem in the orthodontic industry. I think that a lot of groups have kind of gone over that topic a lot, so that question did not really come up that much within this. but they were more talking about just kind of how to invigorate your team. So they had two different kind of campaigns they were going after. One, they were talking about a retainer program. So they have like a Smile for Life program that a lot of the doctors would kind of participate in. And so what this Smile for Life program would be is that the patient would pay a certain kind of fee to be able to have their retainers for life, and they could kind of join this program like when they started. And if the practice sold this many amount of the retainer for life programs, the team would get rewarded. And so what I found is that the practices that are able to keep retention and be able to keep their staff invigorated are the ones that make every single person a part of the practice, and they really try to bring the team together. So there's a little bit of competition, there's a little bit of this unity, and we're all trying to achieve the same goal. And I found that a lot of the practices that do well are the ones that have daily team huddles or weekly team huddles, or just something to really keep everybody on track on like whatever that practice is trying to achieve.
You mentioned earlier the importance of reviews for an orthodontic practice or kind of any business, but I'm curious, what is your take on the importance of reviews, and what are you encouraging practices to do about reviews?
Yeah, so the importance of reviews is huge. When you are located in a certain geographical place, when somebody is searching for orthodontist near me or braces treatment for my teen near me, a lot of the times Google is going to serve them the top 3 recommended practices within that geographic proximity. So understanding where you stand and compared to your competitors is kind of step 1. But in step 2, what I think you need to be able to do is not be afraid to ask the patient for reviews and tell them how much it impacts your business and how important it is to you. So when you have that patient at D-Bond and they're seeing their beautiful smile for the first time and they're flooding you with compliments, don't just say thank you. Let them know that, hey, if you leave me a review, it really can help me serve more patients just like you. And having that kind of emotional connection kind of secures the fact that they'll do it. But to reinforce that, a lot of my practices, they use texting services. So if they have Weave, they might already incorporate something within their practice management software to send a text that links directly to the Google business profile, make it easy for them. They also might have a QR code that's at the front desk so a patient can easily scan it. One little tip, though, to know is that it's good that your patients are not on your Wi-Fi service if they are leaving a review in your practice. It's totally okay for them to leave a review on site, but just kind of have some awareness if they would be connected to your Wi-Fi network or not, because that can cause a little problems with Google if they kind of catch on to a lot of reviews coming from that IP. So just be aware of that. But I think that, reinforcing by sending a message, asking for it personally, those things can go a long way.
Overall, when you were talking to the docs at POP, what was the sense of where business is overall? Is it headed up? Is it headed down? Where are they seeing it?
Yeah, so if we kind of take a look, I'm going to go all the way back to COVID. So after COVID, everybody knows that the orthodontic industry had a really large boom towards the end of 2020 and early 2021. A lot of practices started to kind of have flat or down years after that. And I would say that the market is slowly kind of creeping back up again. A lot of clients saw kind of a busy end of Q4 last year, but I don't have the data to kind of know exactly how Q1 is going, but we're kind of starting to see an uptick that's happening again. I think around election period, there was a little kind of lull and pause, but a lot of last year was actually like pretty decent for a lot of orthos.
Pitch you an idea, and I want you to react to it and tell me if what you think. I've been thinking a lot that I haven't seen it, and I don't know if you have, but an orthodontic campaign that focuses just on vanity, look good on social, look good on Instagram. Has anybody done that you've seen? And what do you think of it?
I think it can be really smart. One of the approaches I've seen some of my practices do is actually brand the aesthetics of their smile, like brand their smile. Dr. Horsley and also Dr. Nichols, who were two influential speakers that were at the event, both of them kind of shared their approach to having a branded smile. So both of them use Damon. They're really big proponents of Ormco and using the Damon system. I think they might also use sparkle liners, but they're really big about a broad smile, and like that is kind of the aesthetic that they're going for. But also there's other benefits to that. So there's a lot more that you can speak on besides just aesthetics, of course. But I think they do a really good job at showcasing before and afters, so people can really understand, like, this is where you start, this is where you end, but they also can understand the features of that smile. And when somebody can recognize, even out in public almost, oh wow, they have the Horsley smile, like that is so powerful. And I think a lot of doctors seem to really perk up during those two speeches and ask a lot of questions about that. And I'm really kind of excited to explore that with my clients and see if they're kind of interested in being able to take that approach, not only on their website, but also on social as well.
It'd be a funny social thing for Brain Bytes is to do a fake branded smile once a month, like the Count Chocula, you could do some funny stuff. When it comes to, working with a wide variety of doctors and they have, different desires and different needs, how does a company like Brain Bytes service each one with this to give them the same level when they all have different goals, but we know, hey, there is a path that's going to be successful. How do you and the team guide people to the right journey?
I think showing them facts, like showing them data. Like, I don't like to just be like, here's my idea out of a hat, and this is like what I think you should do. I don't go off feeling, I go off facts. So I think that when you can provide real data, like let's start with keyword analysis and be like, hey, this is what people actually care about in your community. This is what people actually search about. And when people can kind of understand the narrative of like, you need to position yourself in front of these people and put who you are in front of those people, that can kind of help convince them like this is the path that we need to take. I also think that when they're with us, they already are a client, they're signed up, looking at their analytics on like what performs well. So if we have a social post and we're kind of seeing that, hey, educational posts are getting the most likes, they're getting the most engagement, they're getting the most shares, like maybe we should lean into that. Or maybe you have one that's super really into following trends that are coming out on TikTok, or maybe they have a lot of personality and that's what's resonating well. I think by showing them real data that can kind of explain like the strengths and weaknesses in their practice, it can help us make informed decisions together. So I really believe in that collaboration. I believe in being transparent and being able to like help let the data kind of help us make strategic decisions together.
Caroline, and you might not have the answer to this, but in 2025, are you seeing any big trends in marketing?
What we're really seeing is that things are changing with the landscape of AI, especially with generative search. So what would happen before is that someone could go through a sea of search results and kind of be able to kind of choose, I'm going to click on this one, I'm going to click on this one. But when they're engaging with whether it's ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or any kind of other kind of GPT, that bot will basically synthesize the information for them. It's going to make us a little bit lazier. But if you want to be able to come out on top and actually get recognized by these kind of new search tools, authenticity is really going to matter. And also like having that online reputation, again, going back to the reviews, is also really going to matter. So putting out original thought pieces, like what Google cares about, they don't want your whole website written by ChatGPT. Well, we have this great tech, like putting out thought pieces, putting out your perspective, putting out your approach, showing who you are, building that reputation online. All of those are still going to be really important ranking factors to get you noticed, like as these generative searches become more in use.
Yeah, I agree. I think authenticity is critical too because of AI, because it's, AI is not really authentic. It's not personal. And I think that personal touch is going to matter even more. And I think if people push into that a little bit, because AI is great, but it is nothing without a good human controlling it and doing it and learning how to master it. So I would encourage all people, all doctors, all staffers to play and learn because it is not going anywhere. And, if you wait, you're just going to be late to the party. And that means you're probably going to be more broke.
Yeah. Savvy, our CEO, actually has been doing a really interesting test. So he has been using like a search, like, hey, my child, making it more personal, like, hey, my child has ADHD, they can't sit still in a dental chair. Like, what orthodontist has the best bedside manner to be able to help my child? And I have a feeling that instead of us being like best orthodontist near me, it's going to become conversational. And like as it's becoming conversational, we really have to lean into like what are differentiators, what makes us special, how do we approach certain types of scenarios, and actually like think it through and put the right kind of content so that AI has something to be able to read to know that's how you are. And how that could happen, like how that special orthodontist showed up in that generative search, is maybe somebody wrote a really good review sharing their story, or maybe that you created a testimonial piece on your social media that played into that, or maybe you even wrote a blog that kind of explained, hey, like we have an approach to help kids with autism or kids with ADHD, this is how we do this, to kind of help alleviate that concern with the parents. So there's a lot of different ways that you can actually like get in front of that, by putting out really meaningful content.
Caroline, I know that Brain Bytes and you offer a free digital marketing consultation. And I know it's got a lot of value because it's not something that you spend a little bit of time on. It's something that the whole team spends time on. Can you explain how people can get one of these digital marketing analysis and kind of what they cover?
Yeah, it's super easy. You can email me directly. It's Caroline at brainbytescreative.com. I will have it right here on the podcast so you can find it. But if you email me directly, maybe share a question that you guys have, or just tell me the name of your practice. That's all I really need to know to get it started. I'll send you my Calendly link. We'll book a meeting. But this assessment's going to show you a full in-depth keyword analysis to let you kind of know where you're already ranking in Google. I'm going to do a branding audit. This is now we added another pillar to this assessment to kind of understand, do you have differentiators? How is your logo, your colors? Like, are you able to kind of like put who you are out there so someone can feel like they're walking in your practice for the first time when they experience you digitally? I'm going to look at the website for just user experience to see, is it easy to book an appointment? Is it easy to get in touch? Do you have good information? Do you have good imagery on your website so I can understand who you are? I'm going to do that reviews analysis that we kind of talked about so you can have your benchmarks. And then finally, I'm going to do a social media audit to see how regularly are you posting? Are you doing video or static content? Do you have a strategy in place? And also just do a little deeper analysis to see if any competitors are running ads that you need to be aware of. So it's a lot of great information. I'm not here to, get you sold necessarily right away. I'm here to help. And if you like what you see, we can always, talk about a path forward. But at the end of the day, I just want to leave you more informed than where you started. So please reach out.
Yeah, and you get that data. It's yours. We don't hold it from you. So if you want to use it for yourself, you can. There are no strings attached. I want to make sure that everybody knows you can go to brainbytescreative.com. That's brain and then bytes, B-Y-T-E-S, creative.com. And you can go there and click the contact us button. But you can also just email Caroline at brainbytescreative.com. Caroline, I want to talk about one more thing before we go. And you had talked about the branded smile. And you had mentioned like the idea of, what'd you call it, a broad smile?
Yeah.
When they were talking about this, how did they make the people know what those smiles are? Like, do they say it's the Horsley broad smile, or how do they get that stuck in people's minds so it really becomes a thing?
Yeah, I think that if you go to Dr. Horsley's website, which we are going to be rebuilding, I'm really excited about it. So I cannot wait to show you how we're going to bring that to life even more. He actually uses images to kind of explain like what that means. So he kind of shows the features of the smile, which I think is like super helpful. And then they also have a lot of before and after cases to kind of reinforce that message. So they're showing both, like they're going to show you what the arc looks like. Yeah, if you scroll down a little bit on the website, you're going to see the characteristics of the Horsley smile. So you have the even gum tissue. They do gum contouring as part of their service. So like that's part of their treatment plan, which really helps. That there's like really final touches like after the smile is, crafted. You'll see the aligned bite, the smile arc, how they shape the teeth, that it's a wide, broad smile, and then of course straight teeth. So those are kind of like the features of a Horsley smile. We're going to be redesigning kind of these modules to get it to be a little bit more interactive when we redo their site. So stay tuned in the next couple months to see how we evolve this and even bring it to life even more.
They do look alike.
Yeah, you can kind of see the similarities between. It's just like a really beautiful, like happy white smile. Yeah, he's an artist with his smiles.
I feel whenever I go to anything orthodontics, I just feel like I want to talk like this. Yeah, whatever you guys need, I got you covered.
Wow.
Oh. You know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the podcast for the day. But seriously, yeah, I always feel very insecure about my teeth when I'm at those events.
I do too, actually. So, spoiler alert, sorry to all the orthodontists listening, but I was that person who probably only wore my retainers for a year. So, my bottom teeth have absolutely shifted. I'm probably very much a candidate for some touch-up aligner treatment or something else, but
I need it
really
bad.
funny.
I only wore my retainer for like 6 months. They didn't stress it enough.
No, when we were young, they did not stress. And we had the Holly retainers like as our only option, not like
The metal ones? Yeah.
Yeah, not and that like hurt my gut.
They were so gross and they made you talk like this.
They smell funny and just like I can't
They were
stand it.
really gross.
I think I lost mine in the lunch school tray probably about 15 times. Like I was that kid that my parents wanted to kill me because I kept like throwing away my retainer at school lunch. So I was totally that kid.
You know what would be a really funny campaign? It's kind of like confessionals of adults like us talking to kids. I didn't wear my retainer.
And look what happened.
And look what happened.
I think your smile's beautiful, Jay.
Oh, thank you so much, Caroline. Well, Caroline, I appreciate you going down and really putting in so much effort to get us so much information in Utah with the POP team. And for all of those who want to check out POP, make sure you go to pop-ortho.com. There is a button at the top of the screen. You can click there and you'll be able to talk to our good friend Scott Haley, who will get you on the road to saving money, making money, having great relationships, and being independent, which is, you can't ask for more than that. And again, you can always go to brainbytescreative.com, click on the contact button. You can get in touch with us right away. Email Caroline at brainbytescreative.com. On behalf of the Get It Straight podcast and the whole team, I'm Jason Sorotin. We'll see you next time.